Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new around here, my name is Kutlano or Kay. I'm from South Africa and I'm currently working in South Korea as an English teacher. And for those of you who are not new around here and are returning subscribers, hey, what's up? So basically, if you're watching this video, it's very likely that you saw my Instagram post. It was a story. I posted an Instagram story where my travel school, the school that I go to on Fridays, was throwing me a farewell party because it was my last day there. And it caused a lot of confusion. I got a lot of DMs coming in asking if I'm leaving Korea, if I'm switching to a private academy, a Hagwon, and that's not the case. I explained it on my story, but I think people were still confused because, you know, Insta stories are short format, and so I couldn't explain fully. But that's why I'm making this video. So basically, I'm still in the middle of my second EPIK contract. I'm 3 or 4 months into this current one. What month is it? 3 or 4 months, 4 months ish into this current contract, my second one with EPIK, which is public school for those of you who don't know. And what is happening is that I have to change schools, but not only do I have to change schools, all the teachers in Cheongju, in my city, have to change schools in March. Whether you're renewing, whether you're fall intake, spring intake, it doesn't matter. Everyone is changing schools in Cheongju. So this is where it gets confusing. So if you don't, I feel like if you watch this video and you're still confused, please leave me questions and then I will just type out answers, because I'm not sure if this is going to make sense. Some of us still don't understand the system ourselves, so I'm trying my best to explain to you from the limited knowledge that I know and from my experience. So now that I've made that disclaimer, basically, when you apply to EPIK, yes, you work for EPIK, but you are assigned to an education office who's basically your boss. So you will work under the education office. So I don't think this changing schools has much to do with EPIK, because then more people would be doing it. It has everything to do with your education office and how they work. So I work for the Cheongbuk education office. Cheongbuk is a province in the middle of Korea. It's landlocked, and it has a lot of farming land, a lot of factories. So no one really comes here. There's no reason to really come to Cheongbuk. I mean, there are a couple of tourist attractions, but they're pretty spread out. And then we only have 3 cities. So we have the city where I live, which is Cheongju, which is the biggest, most populated city. And you know, people are always surprised when they come to Cheongju. They're like, wow, I didn't expect it to be like a city. And I'm like, it's a city. It's not the countryside, it's a city. But anyway, I digress. You get the biggest, which is Cheongju. Then we have Cheongju, the second biggest city in Cheongbuk, and then we have Jecheon. And then everywhere else is like a gun, or like a gun is a district, or like a town or something like that. So in Cheongbuk, Cheongju is the only one this rule applies to. I'm not sure how it works in the other areas, but I'm pretty sure they don't have a rule like this. So in Cheongju, you have to change schools every 2 years. When I say every 2 years, that 2 years applies to your school. It doesn't apply to you personally. So if your school has had a foreign teacher for 2 years, then you need to move to another school, and that school will then have a foreign teacher for 2 years, whether it's you or not. So like if you don't renew, someone will come in and complete the 2 years. And then what they do is, we believe it's set up in groups. So depending on where you live, your school is assigned, and then there will be a school maybe nearby, or I don't know what the criteria is, because some of the placements don't really make sense if you look at where we live. But there will be a school that is maybe not as far, or whatever, like not far from your current school, and they'll be grouped into a rotation. So then the 2 years goes on a rotation. So for example, the school I'm at now is school A, right? Then I will move after school A has finished their 2 years. Whether the teacher was me or not, the teacher is currently me, right? School A has finished their 2 years, so now me has to move to school B. Okay, then school B has a foreign teacher for 2 years, whether it's me or not. So let's say, for example, that I stay at school B for the complete 2 years, and then I want to renew my contract and do another year in Korea. After these 2 years, I will move back to school A. That's how the rotation works. This is how we assume it works, but we've noticed that some of the cycles or the groups have changed, so it just really depends on whatever the education office tells you. For my situation, there was a girl who taught at my current school before me for 6 months. Then I came in August intake, so in the middle of the year, and I took over the other 6 months of the year. And then because I still had 6 months left and then I renewed my contract, I then did another year at this school. So now that year is up. I've been here for basically, you would say, a year and 6 months. Okay, that year is up because with my year and 6 months and her 6 months together, that school has had a teacher for 2 years. So now I must move to school B. School B I'm gonna be at for 6 months, and then we'll see what happens to my contract, whether I renew or not. But let's say, for example, I don't renew, then another teacher comes in and he or she or they want to be in Korea for 2 years. Then they will probably teach at school B for a year and 6 months like I did at school A, and then after that they will move back to school A and teach for 6 months. I feel like that was a very complicated explanation, but I feel like I said it as simply as possible. If you don't understand, please leave me questions in the comments. I will answer. Okay, so what happens to the school that you were at when you moved to school B? So okay, school A, I'm at school A now, I moved to school B. What happens to school A? Do they get another foreign teacher? No, there is no replacement. For that 2 years that I'm at school B, school A doesn't have a foreign teacher. When I move back to school A, for example, for the 2 years that I'm at school A, school B doesn't have a foreign teacher. So it's basically a rotation to make up for what I believe is a shortage in teachers. But yeah, that's basically how it works. Why do we have to do this? That I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I really have no idea why we have to do it. My assumption is, you know what they say about assumptions, but my assumption is that they don't have enough foreign teachers for the amount of schools that there are in Cheongju, because it is such a big city in Chungbuk, and because Chungbuk is not necessarily a popular province. I think they have too many schools and not enough foreign teachers to be at each school. So this is the way that they make up for it, through a rotation system that will, you know, allow each school to have a foreign teacher at some point, allow any kid in Cheongju at a given point to experience a foreign teacher, you know, whether it be in whatever grade, but they will eventually get one. I think that's why they do it. So yeah, once again, I don't know how it works in other provinces or education offices. I'm only talking about how it works in Cheongju because I'm in Cheongju and I know more or less how it works. I'm still confused, but yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm changing schools. I'm not changing schools because I don't like my school. Trust me, I have 3 schools. I love my schools. If I could stay at them, I would, but you know, and I guess that's what sucks about it, is like I really like my schools and it would have been great to just stay there, but I have to move, and you don't know what your next situation is going to be like, so it's just something you have to deal with. It's like the fact that you have to move even if you don't want to, but you know, it's new experience, new opportunities to meet people, new kids to meet, and like more difference that you can make in more kids' lives. So it's a good system in that aspect. But yeah, also, like, I know my co-teachers are very sad to not have me to work with, because you do make their workload a bit easier, or depending on your role, like the co-teacher to foreign teacher ratio in the classroom, depending on that, like whether you are teaching whole lessons yourself with their assistants or whether you're an assistant to them, like vice versa, or whether you're splitting everything half and half. So you do make their work a little bit easier, even if it's like, even if you're just an assistant to them, you make their lesson a little bit easier to do. So I know a lot of them are, you know, sad about that, but it is what it is, kind of. I don't really have much thoughts about it, because at the end of the day, it's one of those things I have to do whether I want to or not. So I haven't really thought about like, oh, how do I feel about the system? Yeah, I haven't gone that far. But yeah, one of my co-teachers was really like, she keeps bringing it up every moment that she possibly can. So bless her, she's sweet. But yeah, so basically, where am I now? Right now, I finished at my Friday school. My favorite school. Yes, we do have favorites, it's okay. My favorite school I finished at last, well, it's Sunday now, so last week, Friday, I finished there, and they threw me a party. It was very sweet. Maybe I'll throw in a clip here or something. And then I have next week my last day at my Tuesday school, which is a branch school of my main school, so it's not really a big deal. Well, I mean, it's a separate school, but it's kind of the same school. Anyway, that's another story. And then I'm at my main big school for like another 3 or 4 weeks, and then it's winter vacation, so I'll be back to desk homing at my main school. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And there's no winter camp this year because Corona. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But I don't know if this video made sense. Once again, I don't know who it applies to. Like, I mean, obviously it applies in Cheongju, but I don't really think any other cities are doing this because I haven't heard anything about it, but it could be possible. And it's just maybe something to keep in mind if you were gonna apply to EPIK and then apply to Cheongju. Like, if you're not good with change and you're planning to be here for like 5 years, then, you know, maybe put in a word for Cheongju, or like, I don't know, wherever you want to go. Just, no one really tells you about this until it happens, and then you're kind of caught off guard. So that's why I made this video. And also I just made it for all the people who think that I'm leaving Korea or changing careers or moving to a private school. I'm not. So yeah, that is why I am changing my schools. If you found this video informative, please give it a like, please subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting, and follow me on Instagram if you'd like to, just because I post on there like almost every day, well, on my Insta stories at least. But yeah, have a good day, bye.